Welcome back to Lisa's Family Table. What are we going to make today, Russell?
Oh, we're making one of my favorites. I've been wanting some of this too. Spaghetti and meatballs Sunday supper.
This is a double winner for us because it really is his favorite, but it's also really special to me personally because it's something that I grew up on, and it's morphed over time because I've learned from different people. And I'm going to share it with you today, and I hope that you will take time to try this recipe. So, want to get started?
That's good.
Okay, so we got the meat, all right? And we're going to go ahead and put the milk into our breadcrumbs. And don't worry if it's too much milk because we can squeeze it out. You're basically just wanting to make sure you get them all, you know, moistened. So we're gonna do that. This is messy, you know, your hands are your best tools. So this panade, we're gonna get that nice and moist, and you can see it's soaking it up quickly. And then we're gonna break our eggs in. I'm gonna kind of bring the meat together a little bit, but we're gonna have some time. We don't want to overwork the meat and get all the meat glutens where it's like pasty. That's not, we're not making a Chinese dumpling. That's not the goal here. I'll let Russell, yeah, go ahead and put those in there. You can just put the shells back in here. And so we're gonna put our eggs in. We're gonna put some Parmesan cheese in. We're going to put a little bit of our grated onion and our breadcrumbs, and we're gonna look for a consistency. Once we get it where we like it, we're gonna put some salt and pepper in, and then we're gonna set it aside until our sauce is ready. So we're gonna get our eggs in there. Okay, and I'm gonna put my onions. I probably won't put all of this. Okay, start to bring this together. My breadcrumbs look great. Actually, that turned out to be the right amount of milk. I may not use all these breadcrumbs. I put a little extra than what my recipe called for, just because I wanted to have some flexibility. And some cheese. And then we're just gonna bring all this together. Russell's so excited, this is his favorite. And some friends of ours, you know, made this off of our website the other day. And he said, you know, they made it like on Saturday to have it on Sunday. And it really is like a chili or any of those kinds of things. It's better the next day, I think. So this is all coming together. Russell, will you do me a favor, honey, and grate some fresh pepper over it for me?
Grate it over it.
Mm-hmm. Get some more salt in here. It's a lot of meat. I know it looks like a lot of salt, but it's a lot of meat. Get 3 pounds of meat. So this is perfect, and I'm gonna set this aside. You can see it started off looking pretty moist, but it looks perfect now. And I'm gonna set it aside, wash my hands off, and we're gonna go ahead and start making our sauce. So I've washed my hands. We've got our meatball mixture ready. It's sitting there waiting for us. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on my pan. Put a spoon rest here because it will get messy. I'm gonna get a little heat on here. I've got some good quality extra virgin olive oil. And I'm gonna put quite a bit in there. I want basically the bottom to be covered, but not like, I'm not frying. Now, the technique is we're gonna start off with our onions, and we're going to sweat those just to get them translucent. And then we're going to put our ribs in to brown those with our garlic, and then we'll move from there. So we'll go ahead and begin. So onions in. Go ahead and move those around. So we're gonna go ahead and let these sweat out a little bit. And I usually add a little salt to my onions to help that process move along. And what I've done is I've taken the ribs, I've already cut them apart, and I put a little salt and pepper on them. This is a St. Louis cut. You can also do country style ribs as long as they have a bone. The key here is you want the bone because the bone is going to add some extra creaminess and depth of flavor. Okay, so the ribs are going in. Okay, so we're just letting these kind of sit there in the heat. We want them to get a little darker. So we're getting the color we want. We're gonna put the garlic in. I probably don't want to put all of that. I'm not a huge, I like garlic, but I don't want it like where it's coming out my pores. I don't want to be killing off vampires. Not my goal. Red pepper flakes. This is just a teaspoon. Again, totally optional. So now we're going to put the tomato paste in. What I've done is I've taken the top off on both sides of the tomato paste. And let me show you why I do that. Because you know, if you're trying to get the spoon in there, you try to get the tomato paste out, it's just a pain. So you push that through like that. Again, the building of flavors. Okay. Now we're gonna add our tomatoes that we processed earlier, and Russell's gonna grab me some water. And this is gonna be really watery. That's what you want because it's gonna have time for the meatballs. And there's something I'm gonna do that's probably gonna freak you out a little bit. The meatballs are going in raw. I've seen all the things where people brown them, they do all that. That's not what you want. And we wanna get this up to a boil. And so we're gonna let this come up to a boil. A little onion, put it back in there. And then we're going to start forming and dropping the meatballs. Okay, so we just go in here. And again, you could do this by hand, it doesn't matter. And you're just looking for a meatball. You don't want to press it, you're just rolling it, and then you're gently placing it into the sauce. As I mentioned before, I'm putting these whole basil. We will pull this out. It's just to give additional flavor. I've done it before where I've chopped it up and I just haven't really liked it. I don't like what happens to it. It kind of just gives it where it kind of gets a little darker, and I think this is a better way to do it. Putting this in is going to give creaminess. I will say what's going to happen to this is it's probably going to go to the bottom and stick a little bit to the bottom. So as you stir, just kind of remember you have this in there and it's got to come out when you pull the bones out. So count what you put in, right? And that's pretty much it. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put it on the back burner. We're going to put the top on it, just cracked a little bit, and we're gonna let it simmer for 3 hours with stirring about every 20 or 30 minutes. And then we're going to eat it, and it's going to be delicious. Welcome back to our table. We started off earlier today talking to you about our Sunday sauce. We showed you how to make the meatballs. We showed you how to saute the onions, the ribs, the tomatoes, and all of the aromatics to create a sauce. And the meatballs have simmered in the sauce all day. We've pulled out the Parmesan rind, and the meat has fallen off the bones. And so the sauce looks fantastic. It's exactly what we want. Okay, so we've got our spaghetti and meatballs, our Sunday supper. It's beautiful. Russell's favorite. I always say it's your favorite, but this truly is.
It's one of my very, very favorites.
Okay, so I'm gonna taste the meatball because I wanna make sure it's tender. That's perfect. It's really fabulous, actually.
Great flavor.
Make this your Sunday supper as well. It really is wonderful. It's a great dish. It can be made on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. It'll feed your entire family. It's fabulous. It's just really wonderful. From our table to yours.
Hey, enjoy it.
Keep cooking. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that bell so you can get notification of our upcoming videos. We post every Thursday and you won't want to miss a single video.